Hey, it's Free Talk Live. We're doing hour number 3 right now. Still plenty of time for your calls and thoughts. You can join us on the phones at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Of course, we'll go to your calls first. That is the focus of this radio program. The show is hosted tonight by me, Ian.
And me, Brett.
And me, Mark.
And we will go right back into your calls. In fact, going to Skype first, where Liberty Phoenix is on the line in Illinois. You're on Free Talk Live, Phoenix.
Hey guys, Brett, I wanted to get your experience on something as to whether or not you have any little tips or tricks on convincing a parent who is reluctant to homeschool children to homeschool them. In my situation, I don't live with my kids, and their mom is going to school right now to be a counselor, and she wants to work in a public school, and she wants to work at the school that my children go to, and I've been trying to convince her for like a year and a half now to homeschool, and I'm just at my wits' ends and out of ideas. You have any ideas?
Okay, well, that's what you've described so far, that she aspires to work in the public school system, makes it certainly trickier.
It's a big challenge.
Yeah, and what have you tried to bring up so far, and what kind of resistance or feedback have you gotten?
Well, I've shown her, the fact that we could get it at basically no cost. The only issue would be the fact that we'd have to have somebody there, and her issue, she doesn't go along with the whole, libertarian mindset. She's completely comfortable being a statist. She's on welfare.
Also a challenge, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, when you've got me, I'm just that crazy conspiracy guy, and, she's grew up hood and ghetto all of her life. It just seems like a brick wall at every sense.
Okay. So I would ask, before you frustrate yourself or before you strain the relationship, which I'm guessing is probably somewhat already strained. You said you're not together, right?
Well, we work a hell of a lot better as friends.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so you get along for the sake of the children, is that fair to say? But you're no longer in a romantic relationship, correct?
Correct. Well, she's actually getting married this June, so.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. All right. I would ask a very clear question. I would say, what would you need to know, or what information would change your view of, the merits of public school, the kids being in public school, their education? And there's several angles to come at it from, right? Like their education, their safety. Where did you say you live?
Illinois.
Illinois. Where in Illinois?
Aurora. It's about 45 minutes southwest of Chicago.
Oh, yeah. Wayne's World. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I know. I know Aurora. Okay. So you have some challenges, but you should at least see if you can make yourself a map of, a possible strategy that you can go forward with. Because maybe, for a lot of people, the school and the state is just a religion, and it's very, very frustrating. And if you don't have the right strategies, you can wind up just straining a relationship to the point where it breaks. And then, it's safe to say that the kids might be in even more danger of being.
Well, this is a good question.
System. Yeah, it's a very good question.
The question you're talking about, well, what would it take? What could I say, or what information could I give you more of, or what information period could I give you that would change your mind or help you better assess this situation? And this is a question that you can ask of a variety of subjects, maybe not just even on the subject of schools, like the police state. What is it that is to you would identify this being a police state? Get the objections from somebody, and then that's kind of what you're asking for here. Is what is this person's objections? What do they need to have overcome in order to consider this? And they may come back with, there is nothing you could say. I firmly believe that the government school system is the way to educate a child, and there's no amount of persuading, no amount of evidence. It doesn't matter what you show me. They could come back with that answer, but they may have something specific that is holding them back.
Yeah, and you want to just be able to send an invitation, to say I'm willing to have a dialogue, to say that I want something back, or I want information, I want feedback from you, right? Because it's so easy for people like us who are trying to share and spread these ideas to come across as, dare I say, forceful.
Yeah, zealotous.
Yeah. I've had like 3 conversations with people in the last week who mentioned libertarianism as reminding them of a religion, you know? And I see how it looks that way for an outsider. So you want to obviously go forward. If this is something that's important to you, showing that you're compassionate, that you're understanding of what her current views are, and not to be, you know, I already caught myself kind of being demeaning in this conversation, like, oh, for her, it's probably if she's on welfare and she wants to be a counselor, it's probably just a religion, right? So I'm setting myself up to fail just thinking about it in some ways. So you have to make sure that you don't do that, that you understand that this is somebody who's using at this time the best strategies that they have available to them. And maybe there's certain things that they don't want to look at because they want an easier path, and maybe that's what the priority is. So maybe if ease is the priority, that might be how you have to direct, you know, whatever information you're providing.
Well, now you're probably not coming out this blind.
Focus on like how much more like this type of life could make life easier. Focus on showing her that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility, but I think what's really important is not just to say, oh, this is one of those types of people. You know, you really have to understand as much as you can. And again, you know, this could just be a total dead end. I think Ian said something like that. There might be nothing that can convince me.
But at
that
least
might
you'll
be
get the answer up front, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and maybe that helps you, if you want to, formulate a new strategy, but if I went out and invested time and effort, you could say to her, to gather information, what would it be? What would you have to see? What would I have to be able to prove? I think is a very, very valuable first step here. So it doesn't just seem like you're, you know, throwing all of this information.
Now, that's a great answer for somebody who hasn't broached the subject before, but I'm going to guess that you probably have had conversations with the ex-wife, right? I mean, this wouldn't be your first conversation about the subject.
Not hardly, but I mean, it's always been, you know, something in passing. It's not something that I've ever actually taken the time and done the research into and actually developed a decent presentation to where I could actually convince her. So I think that would be the main issue. I've actually got to put in the time and the focus in order to actually concrete these ideas in something that she can understand and focus it towards showing her how much easier life would be without that.
Presuming that's what she likes, some people might want a challenge. You know, they might like the idea of taking it on themselves and whatever the extra challenge would be. So if she values ease, if she values being able to, you know, take it easy, then that might be valuable for her. But yeah, asking her the question of, you know, what is it that you need to know about this? What information can I provide you with? I think that's an important thing. But Mark, I'm curious. Did Laura, your wife, did she initially, you know, right out the gate support homeschooling? Because you are doing that with your son.
She mostly did.
She did, okay.
Yeah, so, you know.
She came from kind of a lefty family, right?
Yeah, her family are labor Democrats. And, you know, she's still sort of people tend, even if they believe in the ideas of liberty, when they're voting, they tend to default to whichever party scares them less. You know, and I don't think that's even a problem because, you know, who cares? Voting is nearly mathematically pointless.
So you didn't have hurdles to overcome with Laura?
Not for homeschooling, no. But one thing, you know, this is just about convincing people. And when it came to the ideas of liberty, what worked for my wife was essentially talking through problems with her, asking for help in in solutions, like theoretical solutions to problems. You know, I've got a liberty oriented radio program. I have to provide liberty oriented answers to my audience. Laura, can you help me? Can we come up with liberty-oriented solutions to these problems? So at that point, you actually cause the person to come up with solutions themselves.
That's always an important thing to do. Liberty Phoenix, thank you for your call tonight. And there's also some great resources out there like the Advocates for Self-Government that have some wonderful books and audio on how to be more persuasive when it comes to spreading the ideas of freedom. More coming up. It's Free Talk Live.